This conference will now be recorded.
See, first, when you want to comment anything, any statement or any other thing, say that we have single comments or multiple comments. So comments are very important while writing a program. So it describes what's going on inside a program so that a person looking at the source code doesn't have a hard time figuring it out. Okay, you might forget the key details of the program you just wrote in a month's time. So taking time to explain these concepts in the form of comments is always fruitful. So in Python, we use the hash symbol to start writing a single comment. So when you want to write a single comment, you can use hash single line comments. So when you want to use multiple line comments, you can use triple quotes, either single triple quotes or double triple quotes.
Okay.
You can write multiple lines of in this single triple quote or multiple double quotes, triple double quotes. These are the multiple comments. How to write it? Suppose when you want to write a program, now you want to give the complete description about that program. You can write. If you want to write a single comment, you can use the hash symbol. So this is a comment. Next, now you want to write a program. So add two numbers. Or now you want to so write a program. Fibonacci series. Like this, you can write a single line comments. So when you want to write a multiple line comments, you can use three single quotes or three double quotes. See here, this is also a perfect example. Multi-line comments. Triple X, or you can use triple double quotes like this. Okay. See here, it extends up to the new line character. Comments are programmers for better understanding of a program. Python interpreter ignores the comments. Actually, what is Python? Python is an interpreter language. No need to compile the Python program, right? It's an interpreter language. So Python, the comments are for the programmers for better understanding of a program. So Python interpreter ignores the comments, either single line comments or multi-line comments. Okay, next. We have docstring. Docstring also defined within the single triple quotes or double triple quotes. Double triple quotes. This is a docstring. Docstring is a short form of documentation string. It is a string that occurs as the first statements in a module or a function, a class, or a method definition. So where you can use this docstring or documentation string. So when you want to use this, suppose you want to explain briefly about that either method or class or function or module. When you want to explain briefly about those functions or class or method or modules, you can use the docstring. Docstring also you can define like a single triple quote or double triple quotes. Here, it is a string that occurs as the first statement in a module, function, class, or method definition. You must write the function or class does in the docstring. So triple quotes are used while writing the docstrings. How to write it? See here, I can write here. Simple program. Suppose I'm taking here some one function. When you want to define a function, you can read the keyword def. So double is my function name. Double. I'm passing one parameter here, number. Next. So I'm writing here one doc string. Functions to double the value. Double the value. Next. Return 2 into number. So when I call double of 4, here, my function name is double. I'm passing parameter 4. When I enter it, 4 into 2, 8. This is our number 4. Your return value is 2 into 4, 8. But you cannot see this docstring. So when you want to see this docstring, you can call like this. Double dot underscore underscore doc dot underscore underscore. At that time only display the doc function to double the value. So where you can use this docstring, either you can use under the function or under the class or module or methods. Okay, you can use like this. These are the doc strings. So when you want, this is by defaultly it ignores. When you want to display that doc string, you can use the doc method. So that is double your function name dot underscore underscore doc underscore underscore. When you call like this, at that time only displays the doc string. By default, when you call the function, it displays only the answer, return value. So docstring is available to us the attribute underscore underscore doc underscore underscore of the function. Okay. Next, we'll go to next topic, Python variables and data types. Python variables and data types. So what are the Python variables? Already yesterday we were discussing. A is a variable or identifier. When you call A is equal to 10, what is A? You can define anything here, either variables or identifiers or class or object or method, anything. You can treat the Python treat it as an object. What is object? Object is an instance of a class. So what is class? What type of it is? Either integer or double or whatever it is. So that is a class. A is an object. So A is an object, right? Object is an instance of a class, integer type or double type. So we cannot declare any data types in our Python. Based upon our value, the interpreter understands this is an integer type which is assigned to variable A or identifier A. Okay, so no need to declare any data types here. In generally, if you go to any language, when you want to declare any variable, you can write data type, variable name, assignment operator, and value. This is the syntax, right? Data type,
Yes, sir.
variable name, next assignment operator, assignment, and value. This is the syntax of our to define a variables in any other language. But whereas in Python, no need to declare any data type here. Why? Because automatically based upon our value, the interpreter understands this is an integer, or this is a double, or this is a long, or this is a string based upon our value. Automatically, there is a class of type. So when you create any variable or identifier, that's treated as an object. Object is an instance of a class, whether it is an integer class or double class or long or strings or list, set, map, dictionary, whatever it is. Okay. So these are the variables. So a variable is a location in memory used to store some data. So when you define a equal to 10, automatically this 10 is allocated to a memory location. Okay, that address is some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, some 8 digits, XX. Okay, this is the address area. A is equal to 10. Suppose if I define B equal to A, that means A is assigned to B. B is also referred to this memory location. Both A and B are the same. Okay, we'll discuss what are the scope and where we can discuss scope and storage of variables in the later sessions. Okay, now we'll discuss about the variables. They are given unique names to that differentiate between different memory locations. The rules for writing variable name is same as the rules for writing identifiers in Python. So what are the identifiers in Python? What are the rules we have in identifiers? You can define variables. Any character is small type A to Z, okay, or capital A to Z, or you can use any digits 0 to 9. So identifiers can be a combination of letters A to Z or capital A to Z or digits 0 to 9 and an underscore or camel letters. Okay, so an identifier cannot start with a digit. An identifier cannot start with a digit, and also you cannot use any special characters like hash, at the rate, or dollar symbols, either before the variable or after the variable. You cannot use all of these special characters. Same rules you can follow in the variables. Both variables and identifier both are same. Okay, same rules you can follow here. So can you use any keywords to define a variables? You cannot use any keywords to define any variable. Okay, these are the rules. Same rules we can follow variables. Okay, so we don't need to declare a variable before using it. In Python, we simply assign a value to a variable and it will exist. We don't even have to declare the type of the variable. This handles internally according to the type of value we assign to the variable. See here, how to define a variable assignment? You can define like this: A equal to 10. When you call A, it displays the 10. So what is A? Do you have any idea? Either integer or double or whatever it is. So when you want to introspect of these objects, we have one of the method type.
That's a method, right? Sir, that's a
Right.
method, right?
Yeah, method.
Yeah.
It's a method. Type of A. It's an integer type. So how it is known? Because based upon the value. So based upon value, the interpreter understands this is an integer. Now when you call type of A, it displays integer. Suppose if I am defining B equal to 12.5, when I call B, it displays the 12.5. What is type of B? It's a floating value. So depending on the value, automatically it understands the data type. Now suppose if I'm saying C equal to high. When I call C, it says high. I'm applying what type of it? C object. It's a string. Suppose if I'm giving B equal to 90, when I called it, this is the 90th. I'm applying what type of object it is, what type of class, it's a long. So if I'm take E is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. When I apply type of E, what type of E object? E is a list, a tuple. Tuple. The tuple you cannot give anything. Automatically, you can give number of values at a time. It treated as a tuple. Actually, when you want to define in our um, recommendation is you can use the parenthesis like this. F is equal to in the parenthesis you can define the tuple. This is the recommendation of our Python. Recommendation to define the tuple. But you can give number of values also. You cannot give any parenthesis. Also it treats as tuple. See here 23, 56, 78, 90. When I call type of it's a tuple. So you can define either this way or this way. But recommended way is you can define like this. Within the parentheses, you can define all of our values. This is a tuple, one of the data type. Next, suppose if I'm take G is equal to list of. When I call list, I can take the square brackets. Type of G. This is a list. Suppose if I want to define any set, A is equal to set you can define within the curly braces 1, 2, 3, 4. When I apply type of this is a set based upon our value automatically treats that a type of data type. Okay, suppose when I give the within the curly brace when I give the values elements automatically treats as a set within the square brackets treats as a list within the parentheses treats as a tuple. Suppose only you can give 90 here. This is a long high it's a string 12 point is a float or double. So 10 it's a integer. So depending on the value automatically interpreter understands this type of class whether int float string long tuple list set dictionary whatever it is. Okay, based upon the value. Next, how to define the multiple assignments? Multiple assignments. A comma B comma C equal to 90, 78, 56. When I call A, display the 90. When I call B, display the 78. When I call C, display the 56. This is the multiple assignment. So if I want to assign the same value to the multiple variables at once, how to do this? X is equal to Y equal to Z is equal to I'm giving same. If you call X, it displays same. If you call Y, it displays same. If you call Z, it displays same. All are having the same value. Okay. Next, data types in Python. What are the data types you have? Actually, the integer, float, double, long default data types are available based upon your value. But as a in Python, we have a specific data types are there. Those are set, list, tuple, strings, dictionary. These are the main data types we can use in our Python. So data types in Python, every value in Python has a data type. Since everything is an object in Python, okay, already I said to you when you define a variable or identifier or a class or a method or a module, all are treated as an objects in our Python. So everything is an object in Python programming. Data types are actually classes and variables are instance of these classes. Already said to you, either you can define a identifier or variables. Those are object. What is object? Object is instance of a class. So depending on the value, what type of it is, either float or integer or long or tuple or list or set. Okay, these are the data types depending on your values. There are various data types in Python. Some important types are numbering, integers, floating point numbers, and complex numbers. These are all falls under the Python numbers category. So numbers category data types are int, float, complex. Okay. Yeah, ask me. You have any doubts?
No,
Hello?
I don't. I'm good for now. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Next. Suppose if I want to define a complex value, how to define it? That is equal to 2 plus 3j. When I call the display the 2 plus 3. So throughout the Python, when you want to define any complex numbers, you can use the j. Imaginary part is you can take j only, j letter. If you take any other letter, it will display the error. 1 is equal to some 4 plus 6i. Got an error, invalid syntax. Only you can use j. But if you go to R programming language, you can use only I. If you use J, will get an error in the R program. Okay, both are interpreted language, but when you define a complex numbers, you can use the J in the imaginary part in Python. You can use the I imaginary part in the R language. Okay, these are the differences. So you can use entire the Python. You can use J only in the imaginary part. Okay, next. Next, what is list? I want to explain the list here. What is list? List is an ordered sequence of items. This is also one of the data type in Python, right? These are mainly we are discussing in Python: list, set, tuple, dictionary, and strings. These are mainly you can use. Remaining all are by default integer, float, double, and complex value. These are numbers, number related data types. By default, it understand that. But when you want to define specifically, you can use a list, set, a tuple, string, and dictionary. First, we want to discuss the list data type. So list is an ordered sequence of items. It is one of the most used data type in Python and is very flexible. All the items in a list do not need to be of the same type. All the items in a list do not need to be of the same type. So declaring a list pretty straightforward. Items are separated by comma or enclosed with square brackets like this. Okay, how to define it? Here, suppose A equal to in the square brackets, you can define all the elements like this. When you call a display the list of elements. What type of it is if you want to see, you can apply type method. Type of this is called an introspection. When you want to identify what type of object it is, you can call introspection. In this introspection, you can use the method type of A. That is, which is a list of values. This is a list. Next, you can define. You can also apply indexing and slicing. How to apply? How to retrieve only particular 78 or particular 63 or particular 52? You can apply the indexing. You can use the slicing operator to extract an item or a range of items from a list. So index starts from 0 to Python. See here. Suppose you have a list A is equal to some 12, 78, 96, 63, and 52. So you can apply the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is your index. Index always start from 0. Suppose you have also negative indexing. This is -1, this is -2, this is -3, this is -4, this is -5. Here, now I want to retrieve third value of the object A. See here, A of, I'm asking here, on our display 96. So that is third value 0, 1, 2. Suppose I'm asking A of bracket of 3. Now display 63. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. There is no 5 here. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, when I want to ask a of -2, what is -2 here? 63. A of 3 and a of -2 both are same. This -2 is 63. This is negative indexing. Okay.
Okay.
Next, I want to retrieve multiple elements at a time. From 0 to 2 or 3 to 4, you can apply range of values. How to apply range? You can use the colon symbol. Suppose if I am applying a of within the square bracket colon, now it display all the values from 12, 78, 96, 63 and 52. Suppose if I want to retrieve a of 0 to 3 only, 0, 1, 2, these three elements are displayed. 0th element is 12, 178, 396. Okay. Next, if I want to ask a of colon of 4, means I don't want to apply initial value. I'm giving the ending value. Now it displays 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 values are displayed. 12, 78, 96 and 63. In the same time, I don't want to give the ending value. I'm giving initial value. Initial value 2, I'm giving like this. Now it starts on third value onwards, 96, 63 and 52. 0, 1, which is not displayed. Okay. Second value, third value and fourth values are displayed. 96, 63 and 52. Okay, you can give both values are only you can give ending value or only you can give starting value. Display. These are indexing. Okay. But lists are mutable. So already you are defining A is equal to 12, 78, 96, 63 and 52. Now I want to change the value. How to change it? See here, A of 2 equal to 99. When I call here, display the 12, 78. Instead of 96, it changes the 99, 63 and 52. So list is immutable. So once you declare the values, after that at the runtime, if you want to change that value, so it's mutable, it's changeable. So you can apply A of 2 equal to 19, 0, 1 and 2 has been changed to 99. You are applying 99. So instead of 96, display the 99. Why? Because these are mutable, which means value of element of a list can be altered. This list. Next, tuple. Next, we will discuss about tuple. Here. So already we are defining here tuple. How to define tuple? Like this way or in this way. See here. Tuple is an ordered sequence of items, same as list. But what is the difference? The only difference is that tuples are immutable. Once you declare the tuple, you cannot change at any moment. At the runtime also. Okay, you cannot change. Tuples once created cannot be modified. Tuples are used to write the protect data and are usually faster than list as it cannot change dynamically. It is defined within the parentheses where the items are separated by comma. How to write it? Here, tuple t equal to within the parentheses we are defining the values. Enter it. When I call t, display the value. Our type, apply the type of method of t. So it's a tuple. Type is tuple. Next, you can use slicing operator also in this tuple, but we cannot change its value at runtime. See here, suppose I'm having t equal to 1, 1, 23, 45, 6 and 89. What is the index? This is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. Minus 5. See here. Now I want to retrieve one of the value from the tuple T. Here, T of 1, 23, 0 and 1. Now T of 34, 89. Suppose if I am giving 5, what will happen? Index error. Tuple index out of range. Now actually you have the 0 to 4 value, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but you are asking 5. That is index error. Tuple index out of range. Next, T of 0. Or you can ask T of minus 5. Now display 1. Or T of minus 2, display 6. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 3, 6. Now I want to take a range of values. T of 1 to 3. Now it displays 23 and 45. One is 23, second 45. So it doesn't take the third value, only in between 1 to 3, 1 to 1 and 2, 23 and 45. Or you can give like this. When you call it, is all the values. When you call like this, now you are giving the third value, but you are not matching ending value. Now it displays from 3 onwards. 4, 6, that is 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 6, 4 is 89. In the same way, T of
So in this, the start value will be shown, displayed, but not the stop value, right?
right. Starting value stays, and we are not giving any ending value up to ending value displays. But you are not giving the starting value. It starts from 0 onwards, 0 to up to 2, 0 and 1. It doesn't take the ending value, second value, only 0 and 1. Okay.
Can we use
Even though you
something
can
like
do the, yeah, ask me. Hello.
is there anything called skip, sir? So that you can choose 1, 45, 8, or 89 like that. Like if we give the value as skip as 1.
So here there is no skipping. We have in the NumPy handle, you can skip the values. We have a special method is there. You can use then the NumPy numerical
Okay.
package, NumPy numerical Python. At that time
Okay.
you can use in the basic part, in the basic data type. You cannot use like that. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So here tuples are mutable. Suppose if I want to change the first value, T of 0, that is equal to 99. We will get an error. Tuple object doesn't support item assignment because tuples are immutable. So you are not only taking the only numerical values, you can also take some T1 is equal to, and take here program. When I call T1, display the values. When I call T1 of 5, display particular letter. A is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is A. Even though you can ask T1 of 2 to 6, only those letters are displayed. 0, 1, 2 is O, 3 G, 4 R, 5 A, Augra. Okay, in this way you can apply remaining all things. Next, we'll go to strings, Python strings. So, string is a sequence of Unicode characters. You can use a single quotes or double quotes to represent the strings. Multi-line strings can be denoted by using the triple quotes. There are single triple quotes or double triple quotes. First, I want to define a string S is equal to, within the single quote, string. Here, when I call S, this is a string. Or S1 is equal to, I'm taking the double quotes. I come to Python. When I call S1, it will display the welcome to Python. Next, when you want to define multi-line strings, you can define S2 equal to within the triple quote, say single triple quote or double triple quote. I will Python. Understanding
Yes, sir.
multiple code. Okay. When I call S2, it display the all lines here, which is apply the /n. That is new line. This is first line, second line, third line. So after how are you? Hi, how are you? /n. How is Python /n? Are you understanding? Display like a single. That is new line /n. This is multi-line string. This is single line string. Either you can use single quote or double quote. Okay. See, strings are immutable. Strings also immutable. You cannot change at the runtime. Once declared, that is final. That is a constant. It is an immutable. Strings are immutable. See here. Suppose if I am asking apply the indexing value. Suppose if I want to retrieve from S of 2. S of 2 is 0, 1, 2, R. That is R is distributed. Or S1 of 5. Now display or S2 of masking here the range of values 2 to 12. I how R 2 to 12. We have so many lines, right? So it takes 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. So when you call like this, display the range of values high hour, or you can apply S2 of or not mentioning anything, automatic display complete line, or you can apply like this. Starting is 12, ending is 19. Now it display like this. Okay, you can apply slicing and indexing also. But strings are immutable. You cannot change. Once declared, it cannot be changed. Next, Python sets. Set is an unordered collection of unique items. Set is an unordered collection of unique items. Set is defined by the values separated by the comma inside the braces. Items in a set are unordered. That is not ordered. That's why you cannot apply here slicing and ranging values. Okay, this is the main important point. Set is an unordered collection of unique items. Set is defined by the values separated by comma and inside the braces, that is curly braces. Items in a set are not ordered. Suppose if you take like this, set A is equal to within the curly braces, I'm taking 5, 2, 8, 1, 9. When I call A, what it displays? 81259. But I am giving the order is 52819. But it displays 81259. So that is an unordered. That's why you cannot apply the indexing and ranging. Suppose if you give 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again you can ask, you display the unordered values. How can you retrieve the particular value? You cannot apply any indexing. It does not follow the order. That's why you cannot apply any indexing on range of values. So what type of it is? You can apply here type of it is a set. I can apply type. Earlier you are applying S, right? S is a string. You can perform set operations like union, intersection, differentiation. So almost all operators you can apply here in set operators. Set have unique values. they eliminate the duplicates. Suppose if I am defining b equal to, this is a unique items, right? Set is an unordered collection of unique items. Suppose if I am giving the repeated value, here 1 repeated 2 times, 2 repeated 2 times. When I execute this, when I call B, display only unique items. 1 only 1 time displays here. 2 2. Next 5 6 9. Okay, if you have any duplicate values, display unique items. It doesn't allow the duplicate values. So sets are unordered collection. So indexing has no meaning. Hence, the slicing operator does not work. Suppose if you apply like this also, what we are applying here, a of 1. Display the set object does not support indexing. Okay, next dictionary, one of the data type. Dictionary is an unordered collection of key value pairs. It is generally used when you have a huge amount of data. So dictionaries are optimized for retrieving the data. We must know the key to retrieve the value. So when you want to retrieve a particular value, you should know about the key. But whereas in our list, set, not set, list, tuple and strings. When you want to retrieve the values, you can apply slicing and ranging. But when you want to retrieve particular values in the dictionary, you should know about the key. If you know the key, you can easily retrieve the values. Okay. See here, in Python, dictionaries are defined within the braces, with each item being a pair in the form of key value. Key and value can be of any type. Okay. See here, I want to define dictionary T equal to, within the curly braces, I am taking the key value pairs. See here, key and value. One equal to 1 is key, 2 is value. Or name equal to tree, age equal to 23. Okay. So when you use the dictionaries, when you want to read the complete your tables, you can use the dictionary. Key value pairs, key and value. Now when I call the display key value pairs, here it is also unordered. First take earlier I'm giving key value 1 to name tree is 23. But dictionary is an unordered collection of key value pairs. That's why you cannot use the indexing and slicing. So that's why when you know the key, at that time only you can use you can retrieve the values. Here, now it displays 1, 2, age 23, next name tree and key value, unordered values. So we use the key to retrieve the respective value, but not other way around. That is, we cannot apply indexing and ranging. Now dictionary key equal to, I want to retrieve key. I know key. Now it displays the value. Now D of 1. Now it displays 2. D of name. Now it displays the value 3. This is the way you can use the key value pairs. Next, how to convert the data types in string into dictionary, or dictionary into tuple, or tuple into like this. How to convert it? We can convert between the different data types by using the different type conversion functions like int, float, string, and so on. See here. Suppose if I am defining like this, actually float value displays decimal points also, right? but I'm giving float of, I'm giving here integer value 45. Now when I enter it, it displays 45.0. Now the integer value is converted to floating point. See here, suppose if I'm taking it off from 67.89. Now this is a floating point. This is converted to integer, nearest value, 67. The floating value is converted to integer. Suppose even though I'm taking negative value also, of minus 34.7. Now display minus 34. In the same way, apply here, conversion to and from the string must contain compatible values. And take here float of string of 4.5. 4.5 is a string here. Why? Because we are enclosed with the quotes. Now it converts to floating point 4.5. String is converted to floating point. Suppose if I am giving str 25. 25 is a 23 is a string, integer. Now it converts to string. Here within the quotations, the 23 is available. So 20 integer converted to string. Okay. Next, suppose if I am taking set of list of values 1, 2, 3. So when you apply the square bracket, within the square bracket, this is a list. Now you are applying, you are passing through the set. Now these list of values converted to set. Here, set of 1, 2, 3. Next, tuple of. I'm taking here list of values as set of values. That I'm taking curly braces 23, 45, 89, 12. This is a set of values. Now it converts to the tuple. Within the parentheses, the values are displayed. So tuple, the dictionary is converted to tuple. Suppose if I am taking list of string of values. What is string I'm taking? I'm taking here welcome. Now it displays W is an element, E is an element, L is an element, C is an element, O is an element, M is an element, E is an element, which is displaying a list of values. Welcome. So now your string is converted to list of values. Okay. Suppose if you want to convert the dictionary, each element must be a pair. Suppose I'm taking is equal to D of, I'm taking the list of values here. List of 1, 2. So 1 is a key, 2 is a value. Next page 3, 4. Dictionary object is not callable. Okay. Now it displays 1 is a key and value is a pair. Value is 2. Key value. So if you want to define like this, when you want to convert the list of values, you can complete like the dict. Okay. So dictionary, when you call like this here, type of D, already we are defining D here. D is a key value page. When you apply type of D, display dict. So when you want to convert that any list of values, any set of values, you can take dict method. So dict of 1, 2 is a pair of list of values 1, 2, 3, 4. When you pass these list of values to the dictionary, now display key value pair 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is a key, 2 is a value, 3 is a key, 4 is a value. Key value pairs. Okay, this is the way you can convert the values. Okay. Next, we'll go to next topic, input, output, and import. We'll discuss tomorrow. Okay. Hello, Shravani garu.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. We'll discuss tomorrow. Okay.
Okay,
Remaining.
sir. Okay.
Remaining.
Okay.
Okay. Meet you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Veena and Hope, you can wait here. I can explain the complete overview of this
Okay.
Python. Okay. I can give complete overview. So first, so what is Python? Python is a interpreted program or object-oriented language. Okay. See here. So today's my agenda is what is Python? What are the difference between program and scripting language? History of Python, scope of Python, why do people use Python today, and how to install the Python, IDEs and Python software, who uses Python today, what can I do with Python, a sample code and Python code execution running in code. Already sample code we are discussing just now. See here, what is Python? Python is a general purpose, interpreted, interactive, object oriented, and high level programming language. What is this? It is a general purpose programming language, which is an interpreted language, which is an interactive and object oriented programming language, which is a high level programming language. So Python is general purpose, interpreted, interactive, object oriented, and high level programming language. Python is general purpose programming language, often applied in scripting roles. So Python is a programming language as well as scripting language. Python is also called interpreted language. So what is the difference between scripting and programming? What is program? Program is a set of or sequence of instructions written so that a computer can perform certain tasks. What is scripting? A script is an interpreted. So script code is written in a scripting language. A scripting language is nothing but a type of programming language which we can write code to control another software application. Okay, that is scripting. What is history? Which is invented in Netherlands earlier 90s by Guido van Rossum. At the same time, Java also introduced, but Java is very popular at that moment. Why? Because we can develop so many websites and so many web applications, web designing, right? But nowadays, why this Python very popularized? Python is used everywhere. So you can use big data Hadoop technology, next DevOps, that Bitcoin, next data science. So almost everywhere you can use the history. Almost based upon our Python, you can generate different type of web applications, and also you can generate the e-commerce websites. That's why nowadays so many companies are using Python because of this. This you can develop, even though you can test the code also with the help of Python language. You can move into the production all of your products what you have developed. Okay, that's why based upon Hadoop and big data technologies, big data Hadoop technology and data science, now the Python is very popularized from last 5 to 7 years onwards. Earlier, if you want to develop any websites, either you can go for Java or .NET, but nowadays so many companies are using Python. Why? Because this is very easiest language compared to any of other languages. I can tell you. Okay. So here, Python was conceived in the late 1980s and it is implemented was started in December 1989. From 1919 onwards, it is an open source. So Guido van Rossum is a fan of Monty Python Flying Circus. This is a famous TV show in Netherlands. So named after Monty Python, open source from the beginning. What are the features we have? No compiling and linking. That is, we can no need to compile our Python. Already I said to you, Python is an interpreted language. Okay. Next, no need to type declarations. Already I said to you, I will define any declaration to define a variable. Just now we have seen that, right? A equal to 10. I will define any declaration. No need to define any data type declaration. Based upon the value automatically interpreter understands this object is an integer or a double or a float or a long or tuple or set depending on the value. Okay, no need to type declarations. And automatic memory management. So when you define a variable, automatically this 10 is allocated in separate memory address. Automatic memory management. High level data types and operations, which is an object-oriented programming language. You can use here polymorphism, inheritance, and encapsulations, object class. Almost all of hook concepts you can use here, and which is embedding and extending in C. So Python, which you can integrate with C and C++ also, and also you can integrate with Java and JavaScript also. Okay, you can integrate it. See here, when you integrate C with Python, that is called C Python. Is a Python integrated with C or C++ language. Python can be easily integrated with C, C++, Cobra, ActiveX, Java. So you can integrate all of these languages with Python. So when you integrate with the C, that is called C Python. Similarly, JPython is purely integrated language where the Java and Python code can interchangeably use in the program. Okay, that is called JPython when you integrate with Java. When you integrate with servlets or JavaScripts, you can call it as Jython. Jython. Okay, so Python Python is widely used for scripting in game menu applications effectively. Python supports cross-platform. Cross-platform means suppose you develop any code in any of the environment, any of the operating system. Suppose you are developing a code in Windows environment. Now you want to execute this program, or you can move to the production. You can want to execute that in the either Unix or Linux or Macintosh or anything. No need to ask extra file. Directly execute it. That's why you can call it as cross-platform language or portable. See. So rapid development cycle is a simpler, shorter, more flexible. It also contains the garbage collection, fast development, code structuring and reusage of code. When you want to reuse the code, you can use the modules here. Modules. So mixed language systems, you can mix any of the language, C, C++, Java, or Cobra, or ActiveX. Program in the large support, simplified extensions, smaller binaries. Programs can be modified without stopping. Suppose when you want to change the program at the runtime, you can change it. And you can use here universal first class object model, runtime program construction, your restrictions and rules, handles unforeseen needs and end user coding, which is an interactive and dynamic in nature, access to the interpreter information, wide portability, compilation to portable bytecode, built-in interfaces to external services, meta-programming, introspective object. Just now I said to you, what is introspective object? Already I am defining A is equal to 10. What type it is? How you know that? You can apply the type method. That is, when you apply type A, now it displays type is int. Right? Just now you have seen in earlier class. So this int, that is introspection. You can apply any of the object. You can pass any of the object to the type method. Now it displays the type of that object. That is introspection. Okay. Cross-platform programming without ports. Execution speed, protecting source code, system. You can develop system tools, GUI, persistence, database, and so on. So uses of Python. What are the uses and what are the advantages of Python? See here. Shell tools. That means you can use system admin tools or command line programs. Extension language work, rapid prototyping and development, language-based modules with a special purpose parsers, graphical user interfaces, database access, distributed programming, internet scripting. So you can use internet scripting, that is you can develop web-based applications or e-commerce sites. Distributed programming you can use in the Hadoop technology, big data Hadoop. So you can process your data in any type of data, that is a structured, semi-structured, unstructured data. You can use the Python language, the Spark data processing framework. Okay, that is distributed programming. Database access. You can access any type of database, either relational database management systems or any type of data sets, as structured, semi-structured, unstructured data, or you can connect to HDFS cluster, that is Hadoop distributed file system cluster, or you can connect any type of NoSQL databases. NoSQL databases are available only in the big data Hadoop technology. NoSQL means not only SQL, it accepts any type of data, structure, semi-structured, unstructured data. Okay, so what are the NoSQL databases are available in the market? Either Cassandra, CoachDB, WebDynamo. WebDynamo is the one of the database for our Amazon Web Services. CoachDB, WebDynamo, Rike, Redis, HBase. HBase is the Hadoop's own database. It is NoSQL and so on. These are all NoSQL. You can process your data. You can access any type of NoSQL databases or relational databases or any HDFS cluster or any type of data sets. You can access your data and process into your cluster, and you can apply your analytics against that data. And you can generate visualizations, reports, and as well as numerical Python. You can apply different type of mathematical analysis. Scientific Python, that is scientific analysis, or statistical analysis. You can use pandas, and you can generate different type of visualizations with the help of matplotlib. Okay, these are the uses of Python. Next, why we go for Python? So Python is very easy to learn, which is relatively fast, object oriented, widely used, and fairly portable. If you compare to other languages, C is much faster but much harder to learn and use. Java is somewhat faster and harder to learn and use. Perl is little slower, not as easy as to learn. See here. What are the advantages of Python? Most programs in Python require considerably less number of lines of code to perform the same task compared to other languages like C, C++, Java. Okay, suppose if you want to process any data in Python, you can use 4 to 5 lines. When you want to go to Java, at least you can write 100 lines of code. Even though like C also you can write 50 to 100 lines of code, but in your Python you can easily reduce the lines of code. You can use 10 to 5 to 10 lines. So that much of reducing the lines of code. That's why you are using the Python. So less programming errors and reduce the development time needed also. So why we go for Python? There are large number of high-level programming languages like C, C++, Java, and so on. But when compared to all these languages, Python has easy to learn, simplest syntax, availability of library, and built-in modules. Fairly portable. Python comes with an extensive collection of third-party resources that extend the capabilities of the language. Python can be used for language the large variety of tasks like desktop applications, database applications, network programming, even mobile development, mobile apps development also. Python is a cross-platform language. That means the code written for one operating system like Windows will work equally well with the Linux, Mac OS without any change of the Python code. So these are the main advantages and uses here. What people are doing with Python? What people are doing with Python? Interesting thing about Python is surprisingly diversity applications that it's being used for. People are using Python to run the websites. Run the website means with the help of Flask, or Django. D is silent, Django. When you want to develop this different type of website, you can use the Flask. Flask is one of the package. You can import it and you can develop different type of web websites. So when you want to develop these different type of websites or e-commerce applications, when you want to develop e-commerce application, you can use Django. So when you want to develop these two things, you should know about OOP concept, object-oriented programming language. Okay, next. Here, processes large XML datasets. So where it is available XML datasets, our semi-structured data. Semi-structured means charting data. Either you can send SMSs, MMSs, or you can chat with your friend through Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or Google Talk, whatever it is. First, the data which is converted to XML file. When you want to process this XML data sets to your HDFS cluster or NoSQL databases, you can use Python. Next, data analytics. Where you can use data analytics? In our data science. So when you want to apply your analytics either on the structured data or semi-structured data, unstructured data. Structured data means our relational data or record by record which is stored in a database in the form of rows and columns in a table. Right? This is called structured data. What is semi-structured data? Or XML data sets or HTML data sets or .pdf files. So XML means our charting data or HTML data or PDF data. So these formats, semi-structured data. Unstructured means either any audio files or video files or charts or graphs or web crawling, weblog data, IoT data, and so on. These are all unstructured data. So when you want to apply your analytics, either in the structured and semi-structured data, even the structured data also, all of these types, three types, you can use Python. But in our earlier 2014, when you want to apply your analytics against the data, you can use either MicroStrategy, Actuate, ClickView, WebFocus, OBIE, MSBIE, and so on. These tools are available. You can apply your analytics against the data. What type of data you can apply your analytics? Only against the structured data. These tools, what we are discussing, traditional business intelligence tools, cannot apply your analytics against the semi-structured and unstructured data. That's why Python has been introduced. So you can use Python and R. Both are using to apply your analytics either the semi-structured and unstructured data. That's why you are using Python. Okay, mainly you are using here Python. That's why nowadays very popularized tool when you want to process the data or when you want to apply your analytics against the data. And you can develop mobile applications, C or Java could best suits, and you can develop different type of GUI interfaces and make commercial applications suitable for embedding Python interpreter. Okay, next, where the Python is used, we have different type of packages are available. NumPy, Plotlib, NLTK, BioPython, Pygame, Django, Tkinter, Flask, Sci-Fi, Pandas, so many things. Okay, when you want to apply scientific computing, that is mathematical analysis or scientific analysis or statistical analysis, you can use NumPy for mathematical analysis, Sci-Fi for scientific analysis, or Pandas for statistical analysis. Okay, SumPy is based on the NumPy, Panda also is based on the NumPy. NumPy is a basic package for your Sci-Fi and Pandas. When you want to do complete statistical analysis, you can import the Pandas package. When you want to apply your scientific analysis, either you can apply trigonometric applications, differentiation, differential equations, or different type of scientific calculations. You can use Sci-Fi. So NumPy, you can use vector, linear algebra, vectors, matrices, polynomial equations, and so on. So you can use NumPy packages. So when you want to generate different type of visualizations or insights, you can import matplotlib package. Based on that, you can generate different type of visualization based upon our data. Who will provide the data? The data is provided by our clients. See here, NLTK, that is natural language processing. Suppose in the Google search, when you want to search either Python or data science or Hadoop or big data, whatever it is. So now I want to find out the users who are searched the particular technology most number of times. That means today the users who are searching for a different type of technologies, how many times are searched for those? Depending on that, I want to generate a particular graph, that is NLTK, natural language processing. Suppose depending on the search process, data science is searched for 1000 times, Hadoop is searched for 900 times, Python is searched for 700 times, R is searched for 600 times. Based on this, suppose who having the highest value, that displays highest font. This is data science, like this. Next, compare this, less is Hadoop. Hadoop display lesser compared to this one. I can show you one of the diagram I'm having. Like this. This is a natural language type watching. See, data science is searched more number of times, even though R also same time. So this is display like this, highest font. So compare this big data, compare this Python, data scientist. Next, deep learning, analytics, business analytics, data mining, Scala, machine learning, data science, Tableau, Hadoop is less, Apache Spark very less, interview questions, predictive analytics. So based upon the set of our values, the boards are displayed like a fisheye. Okay, who have the highest searching value, that display a bigger font compared to less like this. This is a natural language processing or text mining. When you want to apply text mining or natural language processing, you can use the Python. Even though you can use the Python in deep learning, neural networks, text mining, and so on. Okay. Here, next, BioPython, that is molecular biology. In the pharmaceutical companies or healthcare domain, you can use the Python. Suppose if any patient having some disease, uh, breast cancer analysis, breast cancer, or any skin cancer or brain tumor cancer, so whatever it is, or heart disease analysis, when you want to apply different type of analytics in healthcare wise or pharmaceutical wise, you can use BioPython package. Basically, you can apply different type of testings. Suppose if any company they want to release a particular product, suppose that product, that tablet or capsule cures the heart disease. Now you want to check out, is this capsule or tablet giving any side effects to the patients? You want to find out that. Now the client give complete ingredients, what that company are using to generate that or to generate that product, right? All the peripherals are complete ingredients are displays on the back side of the sheet, right? So is this give any side effect to the patient? We want to find out it. We want to apply different type of testings. You can use here. You can import the BioPython. You can apply hypothesis testing, type 1 error, or there's alpha testing or beta testing. First, you can take the contradiction condition. When it is proved, now this is give the side effects. You can ban this product. We cannot prove, so you can release the product. Okay, these type of testing and these type of analysis. Either if so, we have so many corporate hospitals are there. So many people are came into the hospital. We have huge amount of files are there. Now you want to apply your analysis. You can use Python language. With the help of Python, you can import the IOPython. Those patients having any positive or negative results. So based upon the features, suppose how you know that cancer analysis, some features are available, right? Suppose how you know the fever. So the body's temperature is very high, and you can, when you put the thermometer, it displays the temperature. So how you based upon that you can cure the fever. In the same way, some features are the almost 80 to 90% features are reached. Now you can decide that patient having positive. So some features are not, almost 50% features are not matched to that actual disease. So you are giving negative result. Okay, based on that, depending on the features, you can decide if it is positive or negative. Okay, these type of analysis you can do with molecular biology. You can import the biopython. Next, when you import the different type of games, you can import Pygame package. You can develop different type of games based upon your thoughts. Okay. Next, when you want to develop different type of e-commerce sites, you can import the Django package, and you can develop different type of e-commerce. Same class, you can develop different type of websites. So now when you want to generate different type of graphical user interfaces, you can import Kentra package and generate those GUI. So what is the scope of Python? In the science perspective, bioinformatics, system administration, you can use Unix, WebLogic, WebSphere. The web application development, you can generate CGI, common gateway interfaces, Python servlets, testing scripts. See here, installing Python. Where you can install it? You can install from the python.organization, the second version or third version. So current version of second version is 2.7.15. Current version of 3.3 version is 3.7. Okay. So remember one point here. When you want to use Unix or Mac OS or Linux systems, pre-install of this Python. By default, pre-install is available either Linux or Mac OS. But in Windows, you can manually import the Python. But in the pre-installation of Unix system or Linux system or Mac OS, depending on the version of that software, so maybe it contains 2.7.1, you can upgrade the Python, you can import current version, right? By default, it is available in Unix and Linux and Mac OS. See here, who uses Python today? So Python is being parallel in real revenue generating products by real companies. For instance, Google makes an extensive use of Python in its website system and employs Python's creator. So Intel, Cisco, Hewlett Packard, Seagate, Qualcomm, and IBM uses Python for hardware testing. ESRI uses Python as an end-user customization tool for its popular GIS mapping products. The YouTube video sharing service largely written in the Python. Here, what can I do with Python? System programming, graphical user interface, internet scripting, component integration, database programming, gaming, images, XML, robots, and so on. Even though when you want to develop your models in your machine learning, so machine learning is one of the concepts in our computer science, but when you want to develop that machine learning models, when you want to develop robots or without drivers, drones, robots, or automatic cars without drivers, or spell checking, or Gmail spam, different type of data science product you can develop with Python and machine learning algorithms also. Okay, so here, Python and data science. The day-to-day task of a data scientist involves many interrelated but different activities, such as, see here, you can follow here life cycle. First, you have the raw data. Who will provide the raw data and where you can retrieve it, raw data? Either even NoSQL databases. Already I said you, Python is connected to any type of database. Any RDBMS systems, any NoSQL database or HDBS, or you can get any data sets. First, you can identify the raw data, which we can process into our environment, processes. Next, after processing, you can apply, clean and scrub the data. Clean and scrub the data. When you have the perfect data set or perfect data, you can apply our analytics, data exploration. Analytics against here, this part, exploration. How to apply this? With the help of Python language or R language. Okay, Python or R language. Currently, we are discussing Python. So, data exploration. What type of analysis you can do here? You can different type of analytics. Either see here. Descriptive analytics. Descriptive, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics. Based upon the prescriptive analytics, the client takes the decisions. All type of these analytics you can do with Python in the data exploration. Based on that, you can generate the reports, visualizations. Okay, visualizations, your charts, pie charts, graphs, horizontal graphs, vertical graphs, box or whisker plots, and so on. Okay, next. Here, you can apply here, build the models. Model means based upon our machine learning, you can generate different type of models. Model is nothing but data products. Based on this, can different type of data product can develop here. So reports, visualizations, and different type of data products models can generate here. How to generate these models? With the help of machine learning. So depending on the data, depending on the domain, you can choose one of the algorithm from the machine learning. Based on that, you can generate the different type of models. So based on these report, visualizations, and models, the client takes the decisions. Here you can apply the prescriptive analytics. Prescriptive means, suppose if any guy got the fever, when he went to the doctor, he will give the prescription. So daily take 2 tablets, daily take 1 tonic 3 times a day, and 1 injection per day. So take 3 days. When you use 3 days, now the fever is cured. If you are not follow this prescription, the fever is not cured, right? In the same way, based upon our diagnostic, descriptive and predictive analytics, finally you can do the prescriptive analytics. Finally, you can generate the models. Based on that, the clients take the decisions. So either they want to release the product or they want to avoid the losses based upon our analysis. How to apply their analysis with the help of our Python language. Okay, based on this, the client take the decisions. Finally, the data product which we can move to the production. Okay, after that, which is in the reality. This is complete process of data science. Here you can use the Python. Okay, so Python is an excellent choice for data scientists to do these day-to-day activities, as it provides libraries to do all these things. So Python has a diverse range of open source libraries for just about everything that a data scientist does in his day-to-day work. Python and most of its libraries are both open source and free. See here, Python code execution. Already I said to you, Python is an interpreted language. By default, it having the compilation. So when you type a code, either in the script editor or in the immediate mode, or you can write any IDE, integrate development environment tools. When you run the run mode or F5, or when you enter into that enter button, automatically it executes the code. So internally it happens the compilation, but externally you don't need to compile anything. Just write the code and run it. Automatically display the output. That is code execution. So do you have any questions? You can ask me. Okay.
No, I was able to follow. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the complete overview. Already you are attend the first class today. So tomorrow we'll start next topic. Input, output, modules. We can discuss scope. Okay, scope of the Python.
Okay.
Where it is to exactly. We can discuss tomorrow. If you are okay, you can attend tomorrow onwards. Okay, tomorrow 8 o'clock.
So it's like daily classes at 8.
Daily Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday, depending on our convenient.
Okay.
Monday to Friday or
Same-
Monday to daily 1 hour. I can
and same
complete.
time, right?
Pardon me?
It's same time, right? Like 8
Yeah,
p.m.
same 7 o'clock. Yeah, same 7 o'clock.
7. Okay.
You can attend tomorrow also. Okay, no problem.
Okay.
So
It's 7.
currently
Can you tell me
I'm
like
starting
seven,
from
sorry, is 7 a.m. IST or
7 a.m. IST, Indian Standard Time.
because I don't reach home by that time. That's why I'm like,
Which is your comfortable time?
I can only join like my maybe at around 7 o'clock. So that is like your 7:30
For
or so.
7 means in Indian time,
I think it's 7:30.
in PM, 7:30 PM.
Your 7:30 a.m. and that is my 7 p.m.
Okay, 7:30 a.m. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll manage it. We can attend tomorrow onwards. We will manage it 7:30 to 8:30. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Also intimate to Shravani. Already he left out, right? We'll intimate to Shravani. So tomorrow onwards we'll take 7:30 a.m. IST. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Meet
Thank
you
you.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much. Yeah. Bye.